Hi, I'm Kyle Bunting.
I would like to welcome our next guest, Kyle Bunting, founder and creative director of Kyle Bunting. Please share with us not just your own personal journey, but that of Kyle Bunting and how you got here today.
Sure. I've been doing this for so long, I kind of sometimes have to slow down a little bit and remember what are the most poignant moments. But I think for us, this has been a really special year. The business is 22 years old this year, and we passed a pretty incredible milestone. We've actually made over 1 million square feet of this product. What started in San Francisco, California, and now operates in Austin, Texas, was a brand that was devoted to doing unique, or what we like to say, extraordinary things in hide. We created for what was primarily the high end residential segment of the business, the decorative hide carpet. And we cut our chops and made our name in that segment, selling mostly to high end residential designers. And now, 22 years later, we're a diversified business that does wall coverings as well as rugs, and we service that product in both residential and commercial sectors, in particular boutique hospitality and retail.
You're expanding significantly in this commercial segment of the world. I'd love for you to showcase outside of rugs, which you're very well known for. You just spoke about some of these other product offerings. Touch on what you do with walls, ceilings, hides, leathers. Love to hear that story.
Being on Material Bank has been really phenomenal. We've had tons of projects come in, which would be small art pieces that would be in restaurants or in boutique hospitality projects where we might be in a public area, to where we've actually landed some of the largest contracts in the history of the business to do public space and even to do wall coverings in hotel rooms for resorts and other larger operations around the country. So I think, for us, that's a tricky segment to reach. There's not necessarily a dialed in media solution for that. And I'm an advertising and a media guy. That's the background I came from before I was in design. And I think for us, Material Bank's just been the perfect platform for explaining what we can do and showing the potential of our solutions to that particular segment of design.
So I have to go back. You just mentioned a number of successes, the largest in the history of the company.
Sure.
Share some of those with us. What do those look like?
I think the thing about designers, and the longer you're in this business, the more you realize this is about inspiration and opportunity. And again, and relationship. We had a client that was working on a project for a resort, and they had seen what we could do through Material Bank and had asked for some samples and then had put in their inquiry form that they were considering it for guest rooms. We started working the lead like we normally do, asking questions. Do you need anything further? When are you going to need this, et cetera? And what it turned into was a custom set of wall coverings for 360 guest rooms, or keys, as they like to call them in the business, which I'm practicing because I'm kind of learning that part. And I think, it turned into the largest individual purchase order we'd ever received in the history of the business. And it just really helped us launch into a whole new segment of the economy, which is the hospitality segment, which is booming for us now. And I'm not so sure if they would have been aware of what we do had they not seen us as a resource through their experience of looking for material solutions at Material Bank.
Yeah, you got one lead that converted into 360 rooms at
Yeah.
a large hospitality, and that launched you into hospitality. That single lead that came from Material
Well,
Bank.
we already had a toehold in the business, and we had probably done 2 or 3 dozen projects in that part of the economy, but it wasn't really something that we saw a substantive reason to focus our attention on. As a result of kind of getting into this side of the business and it growing, not only from that opportunity, but from other opportunities we've been receiving while we've been on the platform, it really gave us enough momentum to go out into the market and visit with key clients. We've set up a national network of independent sales reps that work with us to identify hospitality opportunities. And as I said earlier, this is very fulfilling for me creatively because it's so visually appealing, and it's just like very satisfying to see the work in all of its full glory vertical. But it didn't, it cemented our position in the business, and we've accelerated our investment with the platform since then. And I don't see us dialing that back. In fact, I think we'll even dial it up in the next 24 and into 25 because the results have been so positive.
What an incredible compliment. That means the world to us. And especially the fact that you were one of the earliest supporters who joined us. Really, truly, thank you for sharing this inspiring story with us. If a brand is selling to the A&D community,
Mm-hmm.
but they have not previously been on Material Bank, so they've got their infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
they are in this ecosystem, but are not on Material Bank. And let's just preface it, they're not a competitor of yours. What would you say to them?
I think that there's an economic reality of designers are starting to really, they're a little overwhelmed right now in the market between solutions and between access to opportunities. And I think they're trying to find the most efficient way to get as many ideas in front of themselves as possible. I kind of look at Material Bank, if you're a design brand, as critical blocking and tackling. There's some things that are very fundamental in the design business, like displaying and merchandising product, having samples, and having salespeople. These are things that are never going to go away.
As you're introduced to this community of designers on Material
Mhm.
Bank and you've met a number of new relationships, have you found that these are repeat customers? And the reason I ask is because you've been here the entire duration. And so that's longer, and you can give insight to companies who are looking and wondering what happens in year 2, 3, 4, and further, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's the funny part about it is you're not analyzing like we spoke to earlier. Your KPI is not asking how much did that lead cost versus my other lead opportunities. You're more interested in what's the lifetime revenue opportunity generated from that prospect. And we're finding that in order for us to build a base of business in the non-residential sector, and make no mistake, we get a very healthy amount of residential business opportunity from our relationship with Material Bank. It is not mutually exclusive to non-residential. It just skews a bit that way. But we're finding leads and opportunities from the platform for both markets. And what's been great for us is really the relationships we've built because some of those are new. In fact, a lot of them are new. They're people who were familiar with the brand or not familiar with the brand, who, when we responded to those inquiries and provided them the things we felt were appropriate for them to consider using us, it opened the door to a new relationship and everything started rolling downhill from there. So for us to be selling, whether it's the second time or the 10th time, to some of the leads from the platform, it's all about building our base, and it's about building a direct relationship. And this is really critical. It's about building a direct relationship between our brand and our clients. Nothing matters more than that. And Material Bank's really given us a leg up on starting to have a personal dialogue with that part of the market that would be a lot harder to do without the assistance that we've received from you, and also without some of the independent selling channels that we've been able to establish in the last 12 months.
Share with us what Kyle Bunting's initiatives have been in terms of sustainability for this ecosystem.
It's kind of funny. Leather is, when you look back on the history of design, somebody will go, hey, wait a second, leather's the first sustainable material in design. I don't care where you want to go and how you want to look at it, but leather is a principal sustainability, critical material for sustainable efforts. It's a byproduct for starters, which gives it a head start. But in our business in particular, what's unique about it is we're able to use it in so many different ways. Some of the things that we staged in the backdrop behind me, just so we're really clear, this is not how I office. Okay. I do not have this type of stuff behind me all the time. We set this up for you guys, but it's a nice way to show some of the product. But it's really important for our clients and for the market to understand when we cut into a material and we make a wall covering with it, it uses a certain percentage of the material. When we have a leftover piece, we scan it and we put it back into inventory and we cut it for the next job. When it passes the threshold of usability and practicality, we cut it into memos. And what's left from there gets set off for residual, and we try to recycle it for fuel because leather can be useful for that. These are all efforts designed to reduce our waste and our footprint, aside from the normal things we do in the operating of the business. Let me be really clear. We're very interested in contributing. That's cultural, and that's what we do. But this is also economic. Material utilization in the leather business and in this business is the coin of the realm. The more we can use, the better off we are. And the more we get into the products, we're really a lot better off, which is why we're diversified into doing a lot of things, committed to being sustainable, because there's no reason why we can't do well while doing good. And I think it means everything, both for our partners, our clients, and even our employees here in Austin at our facility.
Kyle, on behalf of the entire team, from Adam, myself, all of the team that support you on a day to day basis, I'm just blown away and want to thank you for taking the time today. Here's to the next million square feet of materials that you manufacture and the next multi-million-dollar project win. We are rooting for you each and every step along the way. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Your help's fundamental to that. And I promise you one thing, it won't take 22 years to get there this time.